What is going on, everybody? As promised, we're going to go ahead and do the NFL recap. It seems like the video, when I asked, I got a lot of feedback, a lot of likes. I think almost like more than 5 of you commented for me to go ahead and do it. So the game I have playing for you guys is not a really entertaining game. It was some all Madden first string Super Bowl, and it was the easiest Super Bowl I've ever played. So if we end up going over that time, which I think is like 8.5 minutes, I'm just going to slap on me randomly checking the auctions of when they put this Thanksgiving stuff up of another game that a kid quit after 3 plays. So I have the scores right here of all the games. I mean, I pretty much know what happened in all of them, but I just want to check the stats, make sure we cover everybody's team, because you don't know who's a fan of what. So we'll go ahead and start with, let's go with the most recent game, the game I just got finished watching, Baltimore and New Orleans. The way I feel about that, like, I don't feel like much has changed with the Saints. Like, I thought they were going to easily just roll through the South and just take that division. Because me living in Atlanta, like, you always get the Falcons games against the Saints games on TV. And just last year, I thought they were good, but I don't know what's happening. It's like Drew Brees is still Drew Brees, but he's not doing Drew Brees-like things. So what was his stat line? He threw for 35 of 45. For 423 TDs and interception. I don't think that's bad, but his interception was a pick 6. And they just could not get the ball moving. Mark Ingram, like 2 weeks ago, had that huge game. He couldn't get to moving tonight. Kenny Stills was a good fill-in, though. And they just don't utilize Jimmy Graham. I mean, they did not move the ball at all. How many rushing yards did they have? 126. And, I mean, the Ravens, I don't know if it was the Saints, but their defense looked good. The Ravens' defense looked very good. Joe Flacco, still Joe Flacco. He can't throw anything unless it's straight up in the air and comes straight back down. Forsett, though, he's a beast. I think he's a top 10 running back in the league. That's my opinion. Steve Smith is still Steve Smith. And who's in their division? The Browns and the Steelers and the Bengals. I think the Browns are going to come away with that division. I honestly do. So we'll see what happens. That's the most recent game. The next one was Buffalo and New York. I also watched that one. The New York is they're just bad. I mean, I want Vic to do good. I want him to succeed so he can get a second chance at somewhere, even if it's not with the Jets. But they just have no O-line. They have no offense. They have no defense. And that's really all there is to say about that. Like, you would think Vic and Chris Johnson with Percy Harvin on the same team would be really good, but they have no O-line. I saw that they pulled Vic when I stopped watching the game. They put Geno in, and their defense isn't much better, and the Bills was just a product of playing the Jets. I don't think the Bills are going to make the playoffs. They're not winning the division. And the AFC is going to be pretty tight for that wild card spot, so we'll see what happens. What else? What else do we got? Dallas at New York. I can't believe New York let that game go, but I mean, it is what it is. New York has the worst run defense in the league. Even though they didn't have that much rushing yards, Dallas, they only had 119. Romo still looks stiff, but it's like the reason he hasn't gotten taken out is because his offensive line is so good. So, I mean, they're protecting his back a lot. But the minute he gets hit, someone misses an assignment, I think he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Murray looked like Murray. Dez was doing Dez Bryant things. We all saw the Odell Beckham catch. Was pretty sick. It still hasn't registered in my mind that I saw that live. Like, when it happened, I was like, that's cool. But then when I went online and saw how people were freaking out, I'm like, maybe that catch is a lot better than I expected. The Giants couldn't run the ball at all, and I feel like the Giants aren't bad. They just don't know what to do with a lead, without a lead. They're just all over the place. So the Giants are what they are. People always still talk about the Giants, though. Well, we beat your Patriots in the Super Bowl twice. Like, I hate people that bring up like old stuff. At least like let it be season relevant. They're like, yeah, the Giants are gonna be good this season. What happened when we beat you guys in the Super Bowl? I acknowledge the fact that you beat us in the Super Bowl, but that was almost 5 years ago. It's like, what have you done for me lately? When's the last time you guys made the playoffs or did anything? It's just pretty bad. So the Giants aren't good. I think it's going to be a battle between the Cowboys and the Eagles for that division. If Romo stays healthy, I think the Cowboys will win that division. So that's that game. San Francisco and Washington, in my opinion, both teams suck. San Francisco is just not what they used to do. The team doesn't have that same fire. Vernon Davis, I don't know where he's been. I mean, we all knew Kaepernick sucked. It's finally showing. And without Patrick Willis and Bowman out there, I mean, Aldon Smith has helped them, but their defense just isn't the same as it used to be. They did come out with a win, which saved them. Washington is just bad. I mean, RG3, they only threw the ball 19 times. They ran Alfred Morris 21 times. Like they're just not very good. I mean, the Redskins, that's all there is to it. There's really no analyzing that. I just don't think they're very good. Let's see. Kaepernick was what? 20 for 29, a TD and an interception. They had no rushing yards, 66. Like, I don't know. I don't see the 49ers making the playoffs. I don't see a couple of those players being there next year, including Harbaugh. So we'll see what happens. That game was just kind of a sleeper. I'd be bored watching that game. Miami at Denver. Now, this was the game, the 4 o'clock game I think most of the nation got. I was out, like, around eating with the family for the first half. I'm like, wow, the Broncos are going to get smacked again twice in a row. I come back and I just see Peyton Manning, Demaryius Thomas touchdown, Demaryius Thomas touchdown, Wes Welker touchdown, and then they ended up winning. Tannehill looked good, though. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a top 15 quarterback in the league. I think Miami is a good team. They might sneak in that wild card spot. They're not going to win the division because we ain't giving that up in New England. But I think they're a good team. They have a good defense. If they could find some run game, I know Lamar Miller's good and that backup is okay, but it is what it is. And Peyton Manning turned up and became Peyton Manning when he needed to. C.J. Anderson was a beast, and Emmanuel Demaryius were just doing Emmanuel and Demaryius things. Seattle and Arizona. Now that is the defense that I drafted in my fantasy draft. They looked amazing. They looked great on defense. I didn't think that they were going to be able to move the ball in Arizona, and they really didn't. A lot of their scores, what was it? Their first 3 scores were field goals, and I think Russell ended up throwing 1 touchdown, and the rest were field goals. So the offense just looks flat. It really does. Like, the personnel didn't really change that much. They lost Sidney Rice and Percy Harvin, but they didn't have that for the majority of the season last year, and they just looked a lot better on offense last year. But the defense stood up. If they're gonna win the division, let alone make the playoffs, I think it's gonna have to be up to that defense, and they're gonna have to find some receivers. Doug Baldwin and those boys are nice, but I don't think either of them, any of those receivers that they have, are number 1 receivers. Like Curse and them, I think they're complimenting number 2. So when you don't have a number 1, people crowd the box. Marshawn can't be Marshawn. But Russell Wilson, man, he finds a way to win the game. The Cardinals, they just could not get the ball moving. Andre Ellington had 24 yards. He's supposed to be a top 10 running back. Fitz didn't play, so they were able to crowd the box even more. You saw Seattle defense, but I don't know what happened to their offense, but they were able to get the win. San Diego at St. Louis. Phillip Rivers looks terrible, but he found a way to win. The Rams are still the Rams, no matter what Kenny Britt does, who they bring in as QB, which running back they start. It's still the Rams. They have a great defense. Maybe I shouldn't say great, but they have a top tier defense. But they just have no. Sorry, I'm setting up a solo challenge here. They just have no reliable offense, in my opinion. So I don't know what they're gonna do. They're not a bad team, but it's like Bradford, has he played a full season in his career? They can't find a reliable running back. Trey Mason's nice, but I don't think he's a franchise back. And it is what it is. The Chargers ended up coming out with the win. What was Phillip Rivers' stat line? I know he threw a pick 6. 29 of 35 for 1 touchdown. Ryan Matthews is back healthy, so he's back leading. Keenan Allen has started to come on as late, so the Giants are okay, but I think the Giants are going to do what they always do, make it interesting at the end and not make the playoffs. Philadelphia at Tennessee. LaShawn McCoy, I think that was his best game of the season from what I can remember. Bishop Sankey was locked up for the Titans. Sanchez threw 2 picks, but he did what he had to do. And the Eagles' defense was great. Didn't they score a touchdown on the first drive or something like that? They looked great. They had 3 turnovers. Tennessee had 3 turnovers. They only got 50 yards rushing. Mettenberger looks okay, but Tennessee, they just don't have any good receivers. Their run game is mediocre. And if you were expecting the Titans to win, you must be a diehard Titans fan, because I wasn't expecting them to win at all. And the Eagles did what they had to do. It was a game they should have won, and they won. So, who's next? Colts and Jags. Again, it's the same old Jaguars. No matter what Denard does, no matter how good Blake Bortles looks, even though the Colts lost Ahmad Bradshaw, Herron looks like a solid. He's no Bradshaw, but I think he's better than Trent, and that's not saying a lot. Andrew Luck, I think that was his worst game of the season. I think that was the first game he didn't throw for 300 yards. Yeah, he threw for 200. And I think he threw, how many picks did he throw? Oh, he didn't throw any picks, but they lost 3 fumbles. So, I mean, the Colts did what they had to do. They won. They're going to easily win their division because the Texans aren't playing good. Isn't it the Texans, Jags, and Titans in that division? So, I mean, as long as they just keep winning every other game, they're going to be all right. Houston at Cincinnati. Arian Foster didn't play, so Alfred Blue got the start. I was expecting Alfred Blue to have a bigger game because Cincinnati has like the 29th or 28th run defense. But, I mean, they were locking that man up. Did they say that, what's his name, the backup to Tom that now plays for them, Mallet, didn't they say he's done for the season? I don't know if they're benching him or he got hurt, but I think they said he's done for the season. I don't know why, but they're just not utilizing Andre Johnson. DeAndre Hopkins is a beast, and, I mean, Andy Dalton played okay, I guess, 24 for 35. He was all right. I'm not impressed with Cincinnati. I don't think they're making the playoffs or winning their division. The Texans are just that bad right now. I mean, it sucks that J.J. Watt's on that team. You would like to see him on a team. You would like to see him in the postseason and what he would do, but at this rate, it's looking like it's not going to happen. Chicago at Tampa Bay. Honestly, those are 2 of the worst teams in the league, in my opinion. Chicago looks so decent at the beginning of the season, but they have just gone down, down, and down. Like, this is another boring game that I wouldn't want to watch. Josh McCown, the fact that they let Josh McCown throw 48 times is pretty bad. You have Matt Forte, and you didn't even break 100 yards rushing for Chicago. Tampa Bay had 4 turnovers, only 60 yards rushing. Jay Cutler did not look much better, 17 for 27. Like, they gave the ball to Matt Forte 23 times. Pretty ridiculous. And, I mean, the Bears just came away with the win, but again, I don't think they're making the playoffs. Their offense, I mean, they have some of the top players at the position in the league, but they just look terrible on offense. They're just not in sync. And Tampa Bay is just bad. That's really all there is to it. Who else we got coming up on the last couple games? A Thursday night game. I don't know if he's a rookie. What's his name? The running back for the Raiders? Murray. I don't know if he's a rookie, but he looked damn good. It's a shame he got a concussion. But, I mean, I consider the Chiefs to have a good defense, and he was able to get what he wanted. He only had like 4 carries, though, and shouts out to Eric Berry, man. That's so tragic. I just found out earlier tonight. He went to school in Atlanta, not that far from me. He went to Tennessee. Hopefully, I mean, the first thing to do is just get life back in order. Hopefully he's able to play again, but that lymphoma is pretty serious, and it's hard to treat because it's deep down in there. So shouts out to him. Hopefully all that goes well. But the Chiefs, they didn't look good Jamal Charles was able to do Jamal Charles things, but they just didn't look great. And Oakland was able to steal a win. And then Atlanta at Cleveland. I live in Atlanta. I'm not a Falcons fan whatsoever. I was a Falcons fan when they had Vic, but it was more because I was a Vic fan, not a Falcons fan. And they're just bad. I heard something like Mike Smith called a timeout when they didn't have a timeout. So what did it do? Like give them field goal range? I don't know. I heard he did something with clock management, and this wasn't the first time he did it that season. Josh Gordon came back looking great. That helps them out a lot. I think they're going to win that division. If their defense keeps playing like that, if they just they have an okay defense. Not enough to get blown out, but enough to hang around. And I mean, they have weapons on offense. They got 2 capable running backs. Josh Gordon helps out a lot to open up that pressure in the box. And I think they can go places, and the Falcons just suck. Now to the last matchup. The best team in the NFL, in my opinion. Might be a biased opinion, but record-wise, they have the best team. Patriots against Detroit. Now, I didn't get to watch this game because, again, I don't get that game. I don't have, like, the crazy DirecTV Comcast where I can watch every game. I don't got that kind of money. But I was checking the scores periodically. The only reason I wasn't checking it hardcore is because I don't have anybody on Detroit or New England on my fantasy team. But I kept checking back. I was like, okay, we're up like 14-3, 21-3, 20. I was like, damn. I was really interested because, in my opinion, Detroit's defense, at least their 8 in the box, might be the top in the league, and their DBs are not bad. I was like, I wonder if we're going to be able to move the ball, and I wonder if our defense is going to step up. I'm not saying this just because they're on my team, but Revis and Browner look like elite Revis and Browner right now, like Jets Revis and last season's Browner, because what they're doing is we're putting Revis on every team's number 2 receiver. So we had Revis on Golden Tate. Who we played the week before that? Not the Patriots, the Broncos. We had Revis floating around between Emmanuel Sanders and Wes Welker. So we put Revis on the number 2. Then we take Browner and we put him on your biggest body, whether that be Julius Thomas, whether that be Calvin Johnson, who we had him on this game. And then you see Revis battling with Calvin in the end zone. We look good. And I think we finally found that opposite weapon to Gronk that we had when we had Aaron Hernandez. Hashtag free Aaron Hernandez. Tim Wright is good. I don't know if he's Aaron Hernandez good just because I haven't seen enough, but I think he's a good compliment. We got LeGarrette Blount back, which blew my mind, but I think he knows this is kind of his last go round. And if he does get picked up, it's not going to be on a better team than what he has right now. So I think his focus is good. I like Gray. Gray looks really good at running back. And LaFell is finally being that LaFell that we picked up that I was hoping for. Because I was thinking LaFell was going to have a Pro Bowl season. Now, his earlier numbers definitely are not going to make him eligible, but he's starting to chirp a lot. Edelman is looking good. Amendola is looking healthy. And that defense is looking good. And we don't have a lot of players in right now that are hurt. So that's the NFL recap, guys. Let me know how you like it. That's kind of the thing that we'll do. I'll definitely save my Patriots for last, or any big dramatic game for last. I don't think there were any like big dramatic game winners besides Cleveland's game. Who else do we have? The Dallas game, they won with that field goal. Denver ended up getting the stop to win. San Diego ended up pulling it out. Green Bay, I thought that was going to be a bigger blowout than it was. Colts and Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, and Oakland was able to get the win. So let me know what you guys think of this. We'll do this every Tuesday. So what I plan to do is, guys, the reason you haven't been seeing uploads as much is because of school, but when I was doing the Monday through Friday every day, I didn't get burned out from playing Madden. Like, I've played a lot of games, but I just haven't recorded them. I got burned out from recording and editing. So what I think I'm going to do is, I'm on Thanksgiving break right now. I'm going to go back to 3 videos a week and see how you guys like that. I see that the subs are going up. Like, we're getting like 2 or 3 subs a day, and I haven't even been uploading that much. But I think what I'm going to go to is I'm going to give you guys a video on Monday, the NFL recap on Tuesdays, well, at least for now until the NFL season runs out, and then give you guys a video on Thursday or Friday, and we'll see how it goes from there. And then maybe when the NFL season ends, I'll give you guys a video on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll go from there. I need to pick up that Call of Duty. I need to upload some more FIFA and all that good stuff. So it was a kind of a lengthy video. It looks like we're at 17.5 minutes. So we'll see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think. You can comment below. I'll comment back about your teams, the scores, the players that stood out that maybe I didn't pick up or cover. Comment about your team. Are you glad that they won? Are you glad that this other team lost? Let me know. You know, I comment back to all the comments most of the time. Some of you guys I can't comment back. It says it's a linked comment, so all it allows me to do is like and dislike. So if you don't see me comment back, that's why I don't comment back, because there's not a button for me to comment back. So hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know if you liked it. We'll bring it back, at least for the remainders of the games going into the playoffs, and I appreciate it, guys.